Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Mi3 Insight Series. I'm Randy Burton, CEO and an executive consultant here at Mi3 Consulting Group. I'm really excited to kick off this particular episode because I started this firm not only to help small and mid-sized B2B companies with the entire range of marketing challenges they may face, but to also help all of those marketers who are out there in the trenches, giving them practical ideas to grow and become more impactful in their role. Now, I'm particularly excited to have Susan Martin joining me today. Susan's a long-term friend. She's a certified leadership coach and an executive consultant here at Mi3. And quite frankly, just one of the great marketers I've had the opportunity to work with over the years.
Thanks, Randy. And I'm excited to be here because we're diving into a really important and timely topic: why today's B2B marketing leaders need to think like business owners. Randy and I have spent 30 years in marketing roles in B2B companies and have witnessed firsthand why this mindset shift is so important for the success of both the organization and the individual marketing leader.
Yeah, it's a transformation we've seen play out across the organizations we've personally worked within. And we want to be clear from the start, this is not something that just happens overnight. Being able to expand marketing's influence, shifting from just tactical execution to this big picture strategic thinking and earning that seat at the strategy table, it takes time. It definitely takes intention. And more than anything, it often requires new skills and new capabilities.
Absolutely, Randy. Marketers today are being asked to step beyond brand and communications and into broader cross-functional leadership roles. That means developing a new set of business skills, things like pricing strategy, channel economics, financial literacy. But it also means developing the leadership muscles to influence up, across, and beyond their teams.
And that's what we're here to unpack today. What this shift looks like in practice, how marketing leaders can rise to meet it. Now, let's talk first about what it means to actually think like a business owner. For marketing leaders, it starts with understanding the full scope of the business, the actual levers that drive revenue, profitability, and the long-term growth. So that includes asking different types of strategic questions, such as, are we pricing our product in a way that's capturing true customer value? Are our investments in developing new solutions, are those addressing both meaningful and sizable customer needs? But it definitely goes deeper than that. A marketing leader with an owner's mindset needs to understand how to evaluate and make trade-off decisions. Things like discounting to drive short-term revenue and maintaining margin to meet profitability targets, or how to navigate complex business dynamics, whether that's adjusting a go-to-market strategy in a down market. Does anyone out there remember that worldwide pandemic we went through? Or being able to spot a new market opportunity that others might overlook.
And being able to operate at that level, you need to expand not just your knowledge, but your leadership capacity. That means growing your sphere of influence so you're seen as a strategic partner, not just as the brand person. It also means being able to manage through conflict when your recommendations challenge the status quo. And critically, it means developing executive presence, showing up with the confidence, clarity, and composure that earns credibility at the decision-making table.
That's right. You can have the best insights in the room, but if you can't communicate them effectively and in a way that drives alignment and action, you're just simply not going to move the needle.
And Randy, that's where coaching has a real impact, helping marketing leaders build those internal muscles of influence, resilience, and building the kind of trust that gets you pulled into the conversation before the decisions are made, not after.
All right. So let's flip the conversation now. We've talked about why this shift matters, but what do companies actually stand to gain when marketing operates with this business owner mindset? Look, you've seen this firsthand, Susan, and there's definitely a lot to gain. First, organizations, they get a more strategic lens on customer insights. Now that drives better innovation, more relevant positioning, and ultimately offerings that are just more competitive in the market. Now, there's also the ability to deliver higher ROI. So when marketing is involved in decisions about where to play, how to win, and how to allocate budget across the full mix, tighter alignment between strategy and investment. It also unlocks better cross functional collaboration. Now, as we have always said, marketing is a team sport. And when marketing leaders are at the table alongside functions like sales and finance and engineering, you break down those silos and accelerate alignment.
Right, Randy. And for the marketing leader themselves, stepping into this mindset is a powerful catalyst for growth. You gain credibility both with your peers and with executive leadership because you're not just advancing your function, but you're advancing the business. And you build a reputation as someone who can bridge strategy and execution and who can navigate through complexity with a solutions oriented mindset. There's also a deep sense of confidence and clarity that comes when you operate with this expanded perspective. You're not just reacting anymore, you're actually shaping direction and influencing outcomes and driving momentum. And finally, it opens the door to broader career opportunities. Leaders who can think cross-functionally are the ones who get tapped for next-level roles like CMO or even CEO tracks.
All right, so let's get down to the practical nitty gritty. If a marketing leader wants to grow into this broader business owner mindset, what do they actually need to do and build in terms of skills and competencies?
I think you can think about it in three buckets. First, there are the critical marketing skills, those foundational tools of the trade that still matter, but now need to be applied through a more strategic lens. Second are strategic business skills, and those are things that help marketers move beyond function and think like an owner. And then finally, the third bucket is really all about leadership and influence. It's how you show up, how you guide teams, and how you lead across the business. So, first, let's start with the four core marketing competencies that every leader still needs, but with a modern edge. First is product marketing and positioning. Understanding how to define and differentiate solutions based on the unique way that they solve real customer problems, not just that list of features. Second, and very important, are customer insight and journey mapping, gathering and applying data insights that shape the customer experience across every touch point. And then next is channel and distribution strategy, knowing how products get to market and how to drive both mind share and market share across direct and indirect sales channels. And lastly, in pulling it all together, is integrated marketing planning. So it's really building end-to-end marketing plans that align brand, demand, customer experiences, and channel strategies to business outcomes.
Yeah, and this second area, and this is where I think the opportunity lies most for marketers. It's developing the four key skills to think and operate like a general manager or a business unit leader. It starts with business acumen and financial literacy, understanding revenue models, profitability, contribution margin, and how marketing impacts the P&L. Now, for me, this is personally where I spent a lot of time learning from my finance partner. Then, being able to define pricing and value strategy. This involves collaborating with product and finance teams to influence pricing decisions that truly reflect market value. And then next is customer segmentation and market analysis. This is all about knowing how to make strategic choices about the segments you target and the ones that, quite frankly, you walk away from, and how to win in those segments. It's also determining where to invest based on those market opportunities. This last one, it's a biggie: trade off decision making. The ability to evaluate and balance long term investments with short term performance goals, and being able to say no to things that just don't ladder up to strategy.
And the last category is all about the human side of leadership, building competencies in how you lead your team, how you influence your peers, and how you show up as a strategic thinker. So the first is executive presence and communication, being able to clearly articulate ideas and strategies and business rationale in a way that inspires confidence and drives decision and actions. Then there's influence across functions, building interdependent partnerships and credibility with cross-functional peers in key functions like sales, customer support, engineering, operations, IT, and finance. The next one is hard, and that's really being skilled at conflict management, navigating different priorities and perspectives with professionalism, and really changing the I win, you lose mentality to the we win mentality. And then lastly is having those critically important change leadership skills, guiding your team and the business through transformation, uncertainty, and innovation cycles. So Randy, here's the good news. All of these skills are coachable. We've seen leaders make this transition in stages, starting with curiosity, committing to development, and gaining experience to build these skills, and then growing into roles that might have felt out of reach a few years earlier.
Yeah, exactly, Susan. This is not about having it all figured out today. It's about building your toolkit step by step to become the kind of marketing leader that the future really demands. I think we're just about out of time. And Susan, I really want to thank you and appreciate you being here for being a part of this important conversation.
Absolutely. And thanks, Randy. I would get excited when talking about the next generation of marketing leadership. And I would say to those watching, if you're curious about how you and your team can start taking those first steps into the business owner mindset, we would love to have a conversation.
Absolutely. Just reach out to us at mi3cg.com. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and definitely be on the lookout for more episodes of our Mi3 Insight Series.